Desmond Gulea Carda and Kedmila Faltigodi Tigtarnagus Bia Drohadna Humana. Good evening and welcome everybody. We are gathered here for a great evening of music, songs and stories, poems and recitations and much, much more. Our hosts this evening are the Desmond family, who have many collections, not alone here, but I believe back around Clontarhood and Ballymakeera as well. The programme is put together by our man of the house, Tim Desmond himself, and our famous Farad T from the West, Conor Reardon. So without further ado, let the show begin and let the music flow.
I suppose I'd get my friend here, Kevin Lynch, to sing first. We worked together in Ballyclough. We made the team there. We worked from the 16th of April 84 to the 24th of April 87. So you all know I have Parkinson's, but it didn't play in the old head yet. My brain is like silk all the time, thank God. So I'll hand you over to Kevin and he'll sing the first song.
Well, the sun in the morning came over the mountains, and the thrush and the linnet they were singing from each tree. And as I roved along, well, I thought I'd find glory if I'd list in the army, a soldier lad to be. Oh, but I'm going back to the town of Rostrevor, where the gentle rippling water meets the mighty Mourne shore. And whenever I'll return, I will stay there forever in the town of Rostrevor with the girl I do adore. Well, the pipes sweetly played and the drums they did rattle on a ship. We were bound far across the raging seas, and the cannons they did roar, and the guns they did rattle, and harsh was the life of a soldier lad like me. Oh, but I'm going back to the town of Rostrevor, where the gentle rippling waters meet the mighty Mourne shore. And whenever I return, I will stay there forever in the town of Rostrevor with the girl I do adore. Oh, me time it is up, and I'm leaving tomorrow after 3 years of hardship. No more I wish to roam. So farewell to the guns and the drilling and the marching, and when I get back home, no more soldiering for me. For I'm going back to the town of Rostrevor, where the gentle rippling waters meet the mighty Mourne shore. And whenever I'll return, I will stay there forever in the town of Rostrevor with the girl I do adore. No can.
Okay, steady 1 second. The next man I call in to sing, we started school together 60 years ago tomorrow. So he's 65 tomorrow. John Callahan.
Oh, the summer time is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain crying grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? I will build a tower 'neath yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will place all the wild flowers of the mountain. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme, where the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? If my true love she were gone, I would surely find another where the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go?
Good man, John. Okay. I'll just give one verse, but I'm as hoarse as a crow. Just one verse, and that's all I'll give because I'm not able. This is a very simple little song that I made up myself, really. If I could only start over and have a new life to begin, well, I would not be the rover or float like a leaf in the wind. But I'm dreaming tonight of old sweethearts. Believe me, I've had quite a few. But I never dreamt of old sweethearts the way that I dreamed about you. Yes, I let you slip through my fingers when foolishly searching around. But if I had my life to live over, I know that you'd settle me down. But I'm dreaming tonight of old sweethearts. Believe me, I've had quite a few. But I never dreamt of old sweethearts the way that I dreamed about you. Yes, I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. That is what the Lord threw at me. But he gave it to more famous people, Pope John Paul and Muhammad Ali. I'm dreaming tonight of a cure now, but I know that's not going to be. But my neurologist told me just last week, on with your attitude, you live until you're 93. So I'm dreaming tonight of old sweethearts, and believe me, I've had quite a few. But I never dreamt of old sweethearts the way that I dreamed about you.
Okay, so with me here now are some great characters and sportsmen to whom we hope to have a chat with. And so we'll begin with the man himself here near me, the Bishop of Cork, John Buckley. Now, this is a man from the parish, you probably know yourself, all of you, the parish of Ivlera. And now he's the very popular Bishop of Cork. I'm delighted to have the chance to say a few words to him and ask him a few questions. And I'll begin by saying, Bishop, you played a lot of sport, didn't you, yourself?
Yes, indeed. As you said, I came from Ivlera, and it's very much associated indeed with sport. In fact, I am told, so the historians tell us, that the GA was thriving in Ivlera long before the Gaelic Athletics Association was formed way back in 1884. So it has a long history, the parish itself. Road bowling, of course, as we're all aware. I remember when my first lesson in road bowling was when I was in I think it was the first class. There was a teacher there at the time, Seamus O'Leary, from Parish of Ivlera, obviously, the O'Learys, and he was a great interest in bowling. I was encouraging us all to participate in the sport, and he would take us out bowling during the religion class. So I thought that bowling was part of religion. Someone said to me that I still think so. And he gave us a great interest in the sport. And it was all very, very popular, of course, Gaelic football, with whom I played also, Ivlera, and whenever we were out in the championship, we went quietly to Ballingeary. I don't think we were abiding by all the rules of the GAA at the time, but it was a free and easy approach that time. So the parish is steeped in sport, as are most parishes. We're here in Dublin tonight. I was out recently at the brilliant performance of their minors.
Yes,
I was saying to Tim, they gave a remarkable display that day in the championship, and it's great to see hurling so popular and so good in Éire. I played minor hurling myself with Éire, in fact, and delighted that they're doing so well. So sport is so important, especially for young people. I think it's a very important ingredient in their lives, and this is great. I think the antidote in preventing them from getting involved in less desirable activities and so on.
And that's why, you know, as I travel around, I encourage people to participate in sport. And then they have these great icons, icons, I suppose you could say, in hurling. There was a great Christy Ring and Jimmy Barry Murphy and Jack Lynch and so on. And they need models like that. You know, we're talking about bowling tonight also. You have Mick Barry, who was a man of great skill. He was the Christy Ring of bowling. He did more for bowling. I suppose he did as much for bowling as Christy Ring did for hurling. And he was a great man, a man of great integrity. Mick Barry, an example and inspiration to so many people. You've Johnny Creedon here this evening, another outstanding bowler. He gave remarkable displays in the course of his career. There are many others, same in other sport, football and so on. Erogue do pretty well now in football, even though we always associated Erogue with hurling, but it's good to see him, I suppose, participate in all sport, no matter what forum that takes. So as I travel around, I appreciate very much, and I'd love to see young people involved in sport. You know, I suppose when we were growing up, it's the only thing we were talking about. You know, and I think even with adults today, you know, it's a great topic for conversation, and I think that's very healthy. You know, I think it's very healthy, a great community dimension to sport. And I think that's so important today too, because it encourages people to support each other and to, you know, to go into matches and so on. They used to often say after the Civil War that people were more united around the goalposts than in the church, in fact, you know. They've come together, different political parties, and forget about their grievances and their antagonisms and all the rest of it, and come together to support the local team.
Thank you very much. That's great. I suppose, Bishop, nearly every question I was going to ask you have been answered. The only thing I would say to you is you would probably remember a lot of friends that you made on the hurling and the football and the bowling fields. You were actually very friendly with a man in this parish, I think. I think you might have played together in that famous minor hurling team, did you? A man that scored 3 goals for Cork and
Colm Sheehan. Colm, of course, was outstanding.
Yes.
Great player, Colm. You know, that unforgettable victory of 1966, wasn't it?
That's right.
Colm was a marvellous achievement, 3 goals. He made a remarkable contribution to it. Yes, we would have. You know, I remember people like Colm here near Erogue. There was young. He died a couple of years ago. James O'Driscoll. He was a solicitor, state barrister for a number of years. I remember him, the Youngs of the Manway. You might have heard of them. Eamon Young, he was playing with Cork, you know, people like that. Jack Lynch, of course, Jack. Well, I never saw Jack in action, but we all know of Jack's achievements over the years. He was so proud of the GA, and I was very happy indeed to have been invited by his wife Maureen to celebrate his funeral mass and do the burial and so on of Jack Lynch. I used to know him pretty well, meet him quite often, you know, in different occasions, and he used to often talk about, of course, the hurling and the football and about Christy Ring. I remember one occasion I was asking what kind of a hurler was Christy Ring, and he said just no one. He said equal Christy Ring. He was just unbelievable. And I said on the field of play, I said, would he ever pass you? No, he said, because he considered everyone so inferior to himself. And Christy never listened to selection committees or anything. He used to always change himself, go from centre forward to full forward to corner forward, so they didn't know what was happening in the sideline with Christy. So they're the great icons of sport, I suppose. Then Mick Barry, as I have mentioned, there are others also. You know, Dennis O'Donovan, you might have heard of him. Johnny would certainly maybe presume to have against him from West Cork, from Artfield. Johnny himself, our remarkable bowler also, steeped in this area here, of course, and so many others, you know, that people would be familiar with in their local areas. John O'Driscoll was an Evil area man. You might have, you know, he played with Cork there some years ago from Bala and Grady. So many great players like that I would have great memories of.
Yeah. Well, Bishop, thank you very much. We're delighted to have you here this evening. We're delighted that we could have a few words with you. They were very inspiring, and it was great to hear about yourself and all the people that you played with and played against. And thank you very much indeed. Well done.
Thank you very much, Paddy.
So now we move on, and the next man I have with me here is a man from my own country, from Clondrohid, from Mullinroog, Clondrohid, John Creedon. Now, Johnny has 4 All-Ireland titles in bowling. He was probably one of the best bowlers that ever cut a bowl. He actually has a bowl here to show us tonight. He says tis a perfect bowl altogether, but we won't talk about that for a few minutes. I was going to ask Johnny there, something that came up there recently was about lofting the viaduct. And you tell me that you were there the day that the viaduct was lofted.
Yes, I was there for the first. I was there in Patrick's Day 55 when we cycled 2 bad bikes, Dan Driscoll and myself, to see the event. And anybody didn't even attempt. Anybody, with all the attempts there, and Mick Barry was there, that didn't even hit the battlement of the bridge, the underneath portion of it. Which I was, because it is a massive achievement to hit the bridge, not alone put the ball onto it. So no, I've never seen anybody do it anyway. I know that day I was there, I got a hold of a golf ball, and I put the golf ball over it. It was a great achievement.
Good man, but you were also there the day that I think it was a German guy, was it, that lofted?
Yeah, I was there for 3 different times for it was attempted. But I was also there with Dan Driscoll, lot of mercy on him.
Yes.
Dan O'Leary, the chairman of the city region.
Yes.
And myself.
Right.
So we went up onto the track.
Yes.
Looking down at the attempt. You see?
Okay.
So we were right on the track.
And who was lofting now this day? Who was?
The German, his name won't come to me.
That's all right. No bother.
And his first loft, we just skimmed underneath the bridge.
Okay.
Second loft hit up high on the bridge, almost where the rail would have been.
Okay.
Third loft hit the far rail.
Right.
At the far, and the fourth loft cleared it, and there was some Dan O'Leary, who was the chairman of the city region. We came to the conclusion anyway that if the train had been passing, that it would have cleared the train comfortably. And it landed 37 yards from the far face of the bridge.
Right.
Landed about that much off the road, so they were looking for it for quite a while. When we got down, they were still looking for it. So I marked it, I knew where it was, and when all were gone away, I measured then back to the face of the bridge, and it was exactly 37 yards. And I measured then from the far face, and it was exactly 37 yards as well, what he delivered it from. So it was a perfect arc. Clearing the bridge by, well, the ceiling and a bit over the ceiling, So it was an extraordinary attempt.
Did Dennis Scully ever make an attempt? Dennis Scully, the famous bowler?
No, Dennis Scully, no Irishman would just could get that kind of distance. I know he threw it from a ramp, and we all tried that ramp because I had it at home for a while. And the ramp would be about 18 inches off the ground, and you'd run into the ramp and you'd deliver it off the ramp. But allowing for all that, I mean, for any man to put a 28-ounce ball so high over it, it was absolutely phenomenal.
Fantastic. Now, Johnny, we'll move on. Your main sport was bowling, but I'm sure that you actually admired a lot of players playing for Cork and other teams. In particular, maybe in hurling, I think you were very fond of a few hurlers even from this area.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I often occasionally meet Colm Sheehan, as we talk about him, and I've spoken his name up there already. And I was in Croke Park that day when he scored 3 great goals against Kenkilly and won the All-Ireland. He doesn't like speaking about it. If we speak to him about it, he just want to water it down. It was a massive achievement. Of course, he had Finbar.
Brother, yeah.
You know, he was a tremendous hurler as well. Bernie, I don't know. I don't know. Did Bernie play the sport? But
He did all right.
did
Yeah,
he?
Yeah, the three of them did, yeah.
But of the three, they said that Finbar was the classiest. I don't know. I didn't see him play. But anyway, I know that Colin knew where the goalposts were. Anyway.
Well done, Johnny. And in the footballers, I know that you admired a few of them. One of them might be an import to us, but he was a great player as well.
Well, no doubt. I believe one of the finest players that I've ever seen anyway was Larry Tompkins. He was a tremendous player. I mean, watching him in the county final and winning the ball in the back line and soling the whole field up and scoring a beautiful point. He didn't do it once. He repeated it later on in the game. It was like class in motion. No, that's what it was.
Excellent. Great. Well, Johnny, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for coming out to us, and well done. Thank you so much.
I'm trying to think of it, but I'm calling another man. Johnny Treaton. Johnny Treaton, the famous bowler. Yes, here's Johnny.
Right. I'm a rebel, you know. There's a uniform that's hanging in what's known as Father's room. A uniform so simple in its style. It has no braid of gold or such, no hat of feather bloom. Yet me mother has preserved it all the while. One day she made me try it on a wish of mine for years. In memory of your father here, she said. And when I put the sandbone on, she was smiling through her tears as she placed a broad black brimmer on me head. It's just a broad black brimmer, ribbon fair and torn by the careless twist of many's a mountain breeze. And old trench coat that's so battle-stained and worn, and breeches almost threadbare at the knees. A sand-brown belt with the buckles big and strong, and a holster that's been empty for many's a day, but not for long. But then came Ireland's freedom, and the boys she chose to lead them were the broad black brimmer of the array. It was the uniform been worn by me father long ago, as he reached me mother's homestead in the run. It was the uniform worn in that little church below, when Father Mackey blessed the pair as one. And after truce and treaty and the parting of the way, he wore it when he marched out with the best and the best. When they bore his body down in that rugged heather braes, that placed the broad black brimmer on his chest. It's just a broad black brimmer, ribbons fair and torn by the careless twist of many's a mountain breeze. An old trench coat that's so battle-stained and worn, and reaches almost out there at the knees. Trims knelt, but the buckles big and strong, and a holster that's been empty for many's a day, but not for long. But when then came Ireland's freedom, and the boys she chose to lead them were the broad black brimmer of the array. Up the Ravens!
Let me down now. Oh, when I was in the army, I was a cavalryman, you know. And whenever I went on parade, a magnificent figure I made. When my galloping here and my galloping there, this ridiculous habit I got. And I vow to you now that I'm galloping yet, whether up in the saddle or not. And it matters not where I may go, for the folks, they all stare at me so. With my bumpity bumpity bump, as if I was riding me charger. Bumpity 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 bump, as gay as an Indian Raja. All the girls declare that I'm a gay old stager. Hey ho! Clear the way! Here comes the galloping major. Now I always was a ladies' man and a favourite with the sex. So I called on one yesterday. No, I won't give the lady away. We started to talk of my army career, which was most interesting, you see. But we soon grew so bored that we talked about her, which was more interesting to me. But she said that I'd had too much wine, for as soon as I sat down to dine, I went wompity 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 bum, as if I was riding me charger. Wompity bumpity bumpity bum, as gay as an Indian raja. All the girls declare that I'm a gay old stager. Hey ho! Clear the way! Here comes the galloping major. Last year I thought I'd treat myself to a holiday by the sea. So I went in my quarters I fixed. Then I found that the bathing was mixed. Ho, 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 ho. So I galloped away to a bathing machine in the busiest part of the day. And I soon felt at home with the girls in the water. And I joined in their frivolous play. Oh, they were glorious creatures, but Lord, how they giggled as soon as they saw me go bumpity, 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 bump, as if I was riding me charger. Bumpity, 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 bump, as gay as an Indian raja. All the girls declare that I'm a gay old stager. Hey ho! Clear the way! Here comes the galloping major. Sad verse. I don't say much about it. I was married some time ago. I prefer not at the matter to speak. We were only together a week. I tried very hard to make Gwendolen happy, but quite soon, alas and alack, that charming young gal, she ran home to her mother, and she swore that she'd never come back. I remarked that I thought it was rough, but she said that she'd had quite enough of my bubbly, bubbly, bubbly bump, as if I was riding me charger. Bubbly, bubbly, bubbly bump, as gay as an Indian raja. All the girls declare that I'm a gay old stager. Hey ho! Clear the way! Here comes the galloping major. Lads, ladies and gentlemen, you all know who I am. My name is Michael Kiley, and I live over there on the side of the hill, overlooking the Lee. And I'll tell you, the land there is very difficult because it's sloping and it's hard to work. And when I came around there first, the farmers were all very poor and small. And this man was ploughing a small little field up on the side of the hill with an old tractor that was held together by bits of wire. And when he got to the bottom of the furrow to turn the tractor, it cut out. Well, he sat there cursing. And if he didn't his wife appear below in the yard? So he waved down to her, and she waved back to him, quite unaccustomed to such familiarity. And then he signalled down to her, and he did. Tractor cut out. Bring up the pliers. So the misfortunate woman down in the... She just did. God, he said, she's very stupid. So he signalled again, tractor cut out, bring up the pliers. And then she thought for a minute, and she did. And then she answered him, and she did. Jesus, to see what's wrong with her. I'll have to go all the way down. So he went down. He went down and he said, "You're a very stupid woman, she. I signalled to you that my tractor was after cutting out, and you had to bring me up the pliers. She, I'm not stupid as you, the stupid one, she. Because I answered you, and I told you there was a pair of them in the box under your ass.
The next singer is Kevin Lynch again, because he wants to get home early, so he's a good singer and I'd like him to sing another song. Thank you very much.
Your eyes are as bright as they were the first night that we danced to an old-fashioned tune in a dusty old schoolhouse on a Saturday night. And we laughed as we waltzed round the room. You came from the valley to the dark city alley to care for the young and the poor. And with me, a young soldier with medals galore that I'd won in the African War. My heart filled with joy as the others passed by the look in their eyes I well knew. Oh, that never before, as we swept round the floor, had I seen someone lovely as you. Your hair shone like gold, 'twas a sight to behold, and your beauty 'twas known far and wide. There was many's the young lad, he would lay down his life for one moment to be by your side. But you gave them no glances, nor gave them no dances, while you wistfully stepped on the floor. And with me, a young soldier with medals galore that I'd won in the African War. My heart filled with joy as the others passed by. 'Twas the look in their eyes I well knew. Oh, that never before, as we swept round the floor, had I seen someone lovely as you. When the morning had come and the dancing all done, we would walk through the dawn of the day. I would tell you sad stories, 'twas of battles and glories, and of comrades who fell in the fray. Now the years come and go, but the love that you showed is as sweet and as warm as before. With me, a young soldier with medals galore, I brought home from the African War. My heart filled with joy as the others passed by. 'Twas the look in their eyes I well knew. Oh, that never before, as we swept round the floor, had I seen someone lovely as you.
The next singer is a brother of mine. He's just had to come in there after being at the track. So he sings these good old songs. John?
I left my home in Ireland, it's 20 years ago. I came across to England, where all the paddies go. To the capital of Warwickshire, that's where me quest did end. It was there I ended up with 7 others in the bed. Or all over Paddy, lying a wee bit Joe. Lift your elbow, Johnny, and don't dislocate my toe. Leave go the blankets, Basil, don't strip me curry scamp. Or 'tis all you'll hear in England, in the digs in Birmingham. Oh, when first I came to Birmingham, I quickly got a job. Oh, making tea for navvies, and my pay was 50 bob. To find a place to rest me bones, it was me biggest plight. You could hear the other lodgers shout when we're in bed at night. Or all over Paddy, lying a wee bit Joe. Lift your elbow, Johnny, and don't dislocate my toe. Leave go the blankets, Basil, don't strip me curry scamp. Or 'tis all you'll hear in England, in the bigs in Birmingham. Now I slept in many places since I left my mammy's knees. In prison cells and bus houses, it was my flight, you see. Like sardines we used to push when into bed we'd cramp, or to share the board and lodgings in the digs in Birmingham, or all over Paddy, lying away bet Joe. Left your elbow, Johnny, and don't dislocate my toe. Leave go the blankets, Basil, don't strip me curry scamp, or 'tis all you'll hear in England in the digs in Birmingham. That's all you'll hear in England in the digs in Birmingham. Ho, ho.